is CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories, and we begin with breaking news. Former state senator Frank Artiles has learned his fate. It is for charges related to a ghost candidate scheme. A judge sentenced him to 15 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and 60 days in jail. In court, before the sentence was handed down, his wife got emotional. She defended her husband in court, and a voter got irate about the dirty politics he was convicted of.
Frank has not only been a loyal and a loving husband, but he's been a friend to so many people. And when we were reading the letters of support that came in on Frank's behalf, that was very humbling to us and very special to us. And I think that that was a blessing in the midst of all of this.
So we law-abiding and considerate citizens must succumb to sophomoric and devious, dirty political tricks by people.
His attorneys are appealing the September verdict. The judge said he would stay the sentence pending the appeal. The search continues for the gunman who shot and killed a child over the weekend. Loved ones and community members honored the life of 9-year-old Antavia Scott. They held a vigil and memorial last night. Police say it all happened outside an apartment complex in Florida City on Saturday. Neighbors say they heard the initial gunshot followed by at least a dozen more. The first officer on the scene immediately began CPR, but unfortunately Scott did not survive. If you have any information, call Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. An update on the case of a missing South Florida mother and daughter. The child's father, Gustavo Castano, faced a judge today. He pleaded not guilty on 2 counts of kidnapping resulting in death. Liliana Morano and her 8-year-old daughter vanished without a trace in May of 2016. Police believe he was involved. If convicted, the mandatory minimum sentence is life in prison. The maximum is death. South Florida-based Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy protection. That's after merger talks with Frontier Airlines failed. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten reports on what this means for passengers.
After several failed merger attempts, Spirit Airlines is now filing for bankruptcy. What could that mean for holiday travel?
Today, there are no changes. So if you have flights coming up for the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you can expect those, at least as of kind of today, to continue to operate as normal. You can book those flights without an issue, with miles, with points, with credits, with cash.
We'll take a closer look at some of those impacts starting at 5 at the airport. Ted Scouten, CBS News Miami.
AAA expects this year's Thanksgiving travel season to be a record breaker, and that means travelers can expect packed airports and potential traffic troubles. Nearly 80 million Americans are expected to travel 50 miles or more. It comes as domestic airfares are up about 3% from last year. The vast majority of people are expected to drive to their destination. The average price of gas is down about 25 cents a gallon compared to 2023.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside at downtown Miami, some of the coolest temperatures of the fall are on their way. Let's get right to next with our chief meteorologist and hurricane specialist, Ivan Cabrera. How cool are we talking?
We are talking coldest since last spring, so get ready for 50s for overnight temperatures here. It's going to be great. Although if you like the warmer temperatures, you'll get to enjoy a couple more days before that happens because the front doesn't arrive until Wednesday. And then out ahead of it, we have to talk about some rainfall. A lot of cloud cover today. More bark than bite, though. We're not really raining at all. It is dry but cloudy afternoon here with temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. And so that is the sequence as far as the front coming in. We'll have to deal with a band of showers and storms. Nothing too strong, nothing severe, but a wet day certainly for Wednesday. And then we'll begin to clear out with this front coming in as we head through Wednesday night. And then that'll set us up for a dramatic drop in temperature here. You can see low 70s above average for the next couple of nights ahead of the front. Will be average for Thursday, but then this is Thursday morning. There you go, mid 50s. Some of us, across the interior, even some lower 50s. And along with that, a huge drop in humidity. Driest air mass of the season will accompany the coldest temperatures of the season so far. And the way it'll again set up is for tomorrow. We still have a mostly dry, a lot of cloud cover with us, but a warm south wind that's going to be ahead of the front. Front drops in on Wednesday, but doesn't really move south of South Florida here until Wednesday night. And so throughout the day, we're going to be in these gusty southwesterly winds with showers and lots of thunderstorms. You'll see that on our next weather rain tracker. And then that is the cool and dry trend coming up, not just for Thursday, but Friday and heading into the weekend. We'll moderate temperatures a little bit, as you saw there, but all in all, it will be a cool weekend coming up. Again, for tomorrow, southeast wind with us here, just a few clouds. We'll have sunshine mixed in, but for the most part, dry. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple of isolated showers. Coverage only about 10%. And then over my shoulder, that is the beginning of the moisture that is going to be coming in ahead of our front. And you see it's not completely raining the entire day. We'll get just rounds of showers, storms, and everything will move through and rotate in Wednesday night. And that will be the start of the coolest temperatures so far in the season. And as far as the tropics, that would be it. Nothing out there for the next couple of weeks. We're going to get through the end of hurricane season without another named storm. Sarah, by the way, the remnants of that, the moisture, that's what's pulling out ahead of the front, so it'll make it a little bit wetter for us on Wednesday. Quiet tomorrow despite the clouds, and then for the next weather 7-day forecast, you'll see the temperatures there tumbling by Thursday afternoon. Not only will we wake up with cooler temperatures, but upper 70s, and then it's always the second night of the cold front, right, that we get the drop in temperature, particularly with the timing of this one. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you see no rain with highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Ivan. Prosecutors are urging a New York judge to reject Sean Diddy Combs' new bail request. They're accusing him of attempted blackmail from behind bars. In a court filing Friday, prosecutors claim he instructed his family to contact potential witnesses and victims and sought to intimidate them into silence. They say that he used other inmates' phones and messaging apps to avoid monitoring. Combs has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking and physical sexual abuse. He is currently awaiting trial. We are learning more today about President-elect Donald Trump's plans regarding illegal migrants. That's even as controversy surrounding some of his people that he has already tapped for key positions escalates. CBS News Miami's Christian Benavides reports from West Palm Beach.
President-elect Donald Trump acknowledged Monday in a social media post that his mass deportation program will involve declaring a national emergency and using military assets. Border security is a top issue for Trump, who has pledged to shut down the border on day one of his presidency. As Trump continues to build his cabinet, CBS News has learned his Department of Defense pick, former Fox News host Pete Hegseth, paid a settlement to a woman who had accused him of sexual assault in 2017. Hegseth's attorney told CBS News the Army veteran paid the woman to ward off a baseless lawsuit that would have likely gotten him fired from Fox News, and that she initiated a consensual encounter while Hegseth was intoxicated. In a statement, a Trump team spokesperson said Hegseth has vigorously denied any and all accusations and no charges were filed.
He has a distinguished background in the military, and that counts for a lot.
Controversy also surrounds Trump's choice for Attorney General, former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. Gaetz had been the subject of a House Ethics Committee investigation, and multiple senators, including some Republicans, want to see the committee's report.
I believe the Senate should have access to that.
Gaetz resigned from Congress last week, just ahead of a committee vote on whether to release findings about his sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, which he denies. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the report shouldn't be released.
I'm afraid that would open a Pandora's box because the jurisdiction of the Ethics Committee is limited to those who are serving in the institution.
Trump has yet to announce his choices for other top positions, including heads of the Treasury and Transportation departments. Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach.
When we come back, a recall affecting carrots, making people sick. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Turning now to the war in Ukraine. President Biden has authorized Ukraine's president to use American-made weapons for deeper strikes inside Russia. Here's the latest on the escalating war.
They were targeted as they slept. At least 11 people were killed and dozens more wounded after what Ukraine has called one of the largest Russian missile and drone attacks since the start of the war. Much of it hitting the country's energy grid. Now, Ukrainian forces will be able to retaliate harder and further like never before, following President Biden's decision to allow the use of U.S.-supplied long-range missiles deep inside Russia. The Army tactical missile systems travel at supersonic speed and has a range of up to 190 miles. For months, Ukrainian forces have been launching drone attacks into Russian territory, but with limited effect. President Vladimir Zelensky has welcomed the weapons. Strikes are not made with words, he says. The missiles will speak for themselves. In September, Russian President Vladimir Putin issued a dire warning against allowing Ukraine to fire U.S.-supplied long-range missiles, saying it would mean that NATO countries, the United States, and European nations are parties to the war in Ukraine. Since then, Putin has dramatically raised the stakes by overseeing the deployment of at least 11,000 North Korean troops alongside Russian forces. While in the capital, Kyiv, a makeshift tribute has been set up to mark the 1,000th day of the war, as loved ones mourn the loss of tens of thousands of Ukrainians. And President Biden's decision has triggered a furious response from within Russia, with Russian lawmakers calling the move unacceptable and warning it could trigger what they called World War III. President Putin, however, has so far remained silent. Imtiaz Taib, CBS News, London.
Now to a consumer alert. The CDC is investigating an outbreak of E. coli linked to tainted carrots. The outbreak has caused one death and sickened dozens of others in 18 states. They were sold under a number of brand names, including at Trader Joe's and Publix. Grimway Farm says the recalled carrots are likely no longer sold in stores, but may still be in people's homes. That's the CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami and have a great day.